rangi ene be bagi chik susuita rangi rangyang gwanjang rangi rangyang darangin se songre wata migewa libi migewa chola ene be khatanje ene migewa shachi jendebe ina rachilo niyo mara darangi susu chigi ore susu ene be susu la dungal jingi ore tindiga susu la naba chingin la drasi ore tindiga la rangi ene lengamba sane susu dungal kiyagi kenji cheba ina rangi dada rang mune chaso tele jemme daji karawarta chilo min daji chesi ki penjal naba chike tu yong yana tsendi gi so zamjin do yong te mada che tu mara chilo min dagi jenkar chekde ta rangi migewe chola phak katuine migewe chola shachi jubaina tsendi ta dungal demba ajangchang ta kyo chima penjeni ta pe 지 밀로 분사 망배나라 냐외 동안은 용거지들이 다 때문에 당마다 때리도 뒤인디간라 녀몽이 님이 돼서 이양내양도 상노다네 아니 지에 장과데 개침을 차게 보았지 보다 녀몽이 님이 상노마다마 있나 녀몽은 견통 말이 녀몽은 견마다나 아니 다 녀몽 당도라니 녀몽은 냠는 제대로 란치수 용해지 자고 와레스 Oda te jamada ranging rangyang gwanjang se. Ranging rang wonere. Gwen jendani sego mare. Ani rangi ene be chik gewe chola samatang. Yang ni yang du ani chende toge tam sumsam jila kyongke. Ani chima penje la pa peagi pendi dubiyage ene rang man rang te inde rang zube ta jen semjan tamje rangi ni du zube 파마 선전 탐제기 돈다지 제투비나 다 랑고 라차스 텔리지 젬바지 건지 가바자고 다 세사미도 보다 뒤인디가라 좀 된디 대고네 랑이 안다라인 랑이 관계인서 송거레스
Also one needs to have a proper understanding of the text taught by Buddha. That also makes big difference in bringing happiness or peace of mind. One thing that Buddha mentioned is one is one's own guardian and one is one's own enemy. So here Buddha is saying that everything here it's depend on your own practice. If you keep continuing, if you keep doing or creating a negative activities, sinful activities, then of course the result will be negative karma and therefore suffering. So here you see you are your own enemy. When we say enemy means somebody who hurts you, who brings you suffering and pain. So here you are your own enemy, created by yourself. External enemy, they might bring us temporary, difficulties. They might, take away our wealth, money, at most our life, but they won't, bring us destruction, difficulties beyond this lifetime. So, if you create negative activities out of ignorance or negative mentalities, then you are not destroying this lifetime only, but you are creating a negative karma for thousands of future lifetime, reborning in the lower realms and suffering. So here the important thing is identify and understand the delusions and defilements, and then try to eliminate delusions, defilements from your mind. Otherwise, if you don't see any negativities of a defilement, you will always keep indulge, always be involved in creating a negative activities. Therefore, Buddha is saying here that one is one's own enemy, and when he says one is one's own protector or guardian, if you create positive activities, and if you always benefit others, consider others as more important than yourself, your family member, your friends, whole sentient beings, then this will create a positive karma. Of course, you will have good, calm, peaceful life, not only this lifetime, but many future lifetime too.
Oda tezubita sangi kobande karbo gevele tene tupu hores. Tindina da tengi jidin duma da tupu sante ta dungal tene meade ta karbo gevele tene tupu ormata jen tu yage tapsan jenda meinza rangi rang going siade muma chagores.
And positive activities also is the cause of enlightenment. So therefore, positive activities is considered as the seed of the ultimate happiness.
Tang tendi indigala ta maranzu jik sem singdela pa 심주 줘야도 개치무 작도 왔어. semla 심주 마지바이나 sem 기타니 직 오네 미겨사나 삽체무치사 거래. 리당마기 미겨 사단대당 sem기 미겨 사단이 니바치다기 체요래. 제자 sem 기타니 파기 미겨 사난다 개와 사난다 제 sem기는 사샤교데 제사 상회 le cha de le top chen cha go re lui go ne sa ne jurung ju sum sang go ma re je sa chang le cha go ma re kha shi ne be jowa ya hu yin na mu ji ne be ya hu me ne mu ji ya hu yin na jowa ya hu me ne wa da de yo la ju ngwa be pa gi chi kar so da ngwa ya hu me ne den de yong go ma ge le da lui le ni la sem gi le la 제사 참을 내미 차버려 섬기래라 된디는 일레라 제사 마상 요 말에 된디 이거라 샘니 니가 전부 투치모 와다 직 개와 사나 톱 전부 사투니 미개와 사나 톱 전부 사투니 된디 차거래 와다 샘데 까두이나 예엔도다 샘니 미개와 철라 파타나 배 갑지 당분이 거기 직 남도기 땅부 조다 용두가라 주미 이제 땅부를 조다 용두가라 샘디 접결지 갸네 직가 마tum나 이니베 랑징님발에 두고도 와 샘데 어떻게 수신 냠냠도네 삼로당나 하고 해지리마다 하미과 땐자원이 차요 말이지 말한서 샘들라 땐자원이 심지지가 말이야 심지지가 되게 말이지.
And it is important to examine your own mind, because activities created by mind is much more intense than physical and verbal. It is considered that whatever activity created by your mind is it's a complete form. It is both from the karmic level. It is full karma, both executed and accumulated karma, and it has all three parts of karma: the preliminary, the actual, the action, and then conclusion. On the other hand, if you look at the negative activities created by verbal and physical, these are not strong or powerful as mental karma, because physical and verbal karma could be incomplete. It might be either accumulated and not executed, or maybe executed and not accumulated, or it might have a good preliminary and actual action, but not conclusion. Lack of dedication, which is the conclusion for creating a positive activity. So, verbal and physical deed or activity is not necessarily complete, while mental, karma or whatever activity you create, positive or negative, is mostly it's a complete form of karma. So, therefore, mental karma is more intense, more powerful than physical and verbal. So, when your mind is following, negativities, if you can't control from the very beginning, say when you have a misconception, when you have a wrong conception, and then you just kind of follow it blindly, then later your mind, the negative mind, will become so strong, just like in crazy elephant, that you won't be able to control. So it is important to realize, to identify that your mind is following, negative from the very beginning.
배자나 류레서르진 또 전부 뒤기차기나 그 뒤서 링고지 고가래서 배나 소제기 인전이나 당부 소제기 군롱지 당과래 되니 소제기 지사기 다 선전 가래나 대지 고가래 될라니 자기 망부지 당고가래 아니 대제네 다 소대 방가 소든 가니 렌상 게섬께바이나 예바 대 충충 차고가래 딘디 니가라 룰레데 top 첨부 감페 일레나진 top 첨부 연구 말세야 돼 유전지 때 어다 나기나 당보 준다에기 처리지 뒤지 무슨 당상 당루 처리지 밀랑 고거다는 배 고거다에기 처리지 대 처리지네 다 하기 미들라 무슨 던 과지 람고르 배 티쪽보 던 과한 고르당 투야기 시지 무엇을 더는지 랍도 보아 랍사네 참았다가 타네 렌상 게슴께 베이나 니바도 충충 차고 와 교박이 빼 따로 와 되니가 다 룰레 생데 뒤에 전에 빼 뒤통통지나 빼뜨게 깨와다 제사 빼즉 선나 삼로 콜삼기니 엔 군웅당 레사야 되당 게슴께 꼭압이 오말 뒤서 통통지나 레데 조도 와 어떤 때리기 찬이 빼 일레를 제사 상을 레임이 잡세고 유선대
Other reason why mental karma is more powerful than physical and verbal. When you look from the perspective of duration of creating a karma, excuse me. Say physical negative karma, act of killing. First, it has to, you has to have other sentient being, and then you need to, whatever activity that you do to kill that sentient being, that sentient being life has to be stopped in order to complete, the act of killing. And right after the act of killing, if you generate, sort of regret or remorse, then the negative activities that you create becomes very light. You kind of have a positive mentality right after that. Likewise, when you create the negative activities of, speech, say, cheating, you have to have first something in your mind that, I'm going to cheat this or that person, and how to cheat. And then when you express verbally, then it has to be understood by, whoever you want to cheat. And right after that, if you, like before, if you regret, if you, had a strong remorse, then that negative impact or result is it becomes light, not that strong. But when you look at the negative karma created by mind, it has to have this, duration or these stages of, karmic creation. Right after the moment of, thoughts, your karma is created. In a very short moment, you create complete form of a negative karma. It doesn't allow or doesn't give a time to, regret. It is so short, so quick, and whatever it creates, it is a complete form.
어떤 이런 주숨 그 뒤지를 창ning 외인자 그 답천보다 거기 이런 주숨데 그 윤기전에 뒤를 보지고는 마다 창통고 말 마찬가지가 그배 류리라 양의 요래서야 돼. oda yuzen techi res. Dete mayimba, tang aranzu jik semde tsumi inje sede. Ta jik pagi trotana, tangpo jik oze tabe tongyongdu ni semde kamagana, dini semde tete na nyeru ne, dini be migawa mangru topcheru chagi nyengayo res. Dini de tsumi inje namdo se indi, bermi siba tabe jik ire 니바사이고 우고 직 연애면에 지차고 알았어. 니가 란주야게 우고 당부 수지만 비 이제 원고 거래. 와다 수지만 비 이제 세대 곧 지응을 코네 응wen에 대단 다보지 이해를 오면은 아니 나랑도 로기 남도기 또 다네. 아니 배 심다 니보 자기나 다 수지만 비 당보니 대 파기 또 따용두가네 로기 로라니 심조진에 대 간디지지도 간디데 도스데 삼당과데 빼게 첨보라 인디가라 단다디나 라 수지마임빈 장주세바데소이나 수지마비 이제라 파기 가야게 탑시지네 니치거레스 아니 디링아도 더 주야데 수미 이제기 남도 방주데 다 주구거레스 인디가라 장주세바 레 당보이나 디기코 남도데 게임거래 양양도 고 겨 토마 메바는 가랑도 데라 콤데 인자 미고라 콤데 인자 남도고 또 다이데 고 용거래 인디가라 덴데 간데시다 남도도 방거래 간데시 애니베 직 메아서 어르제나 보다 디니테 용거래 디 지다 나완디다 랑기셈 생이 데니트비 타단탈스 땡이시나 존진 세만은 일레미지가 zel라린 세야되기 주미지게 남도 풍수게 송거레스.
So negative activities created by mind, it creates all preliminary, actual action and conclusion, three parts of karma in a one time, while physical and verbal it goes through the series of stages. Therefore, negative activity created by, whatever karma created by mind is considered as complete karma, both executed and, accumulated. So, when we have a wrong misconception, a wrong conception or misconception, or mistaken conception, it is important from the very beginning, to realize that, and then, stop, following that negative mentality. Otherwise, if you let your mind to follow it, then negative conception or misconception or wrong conception becomes very close to your mind, and then later it becomes, the bond between negative conception and your mind becomes so strong that it's very difficult to fix it later. So from the very beginning, if you see something, if your mind sees something, regardless of what appears from the object side, from your subject side, from your side, if you know that your mind is exaggerating, whatever you see, if your mind is telling that this is more beautiful, more better, then that is the time where you should be investigating. Is it true? Should I follow my mind or not? That is the time you should be more careful, more aware. So today we are, going through this topic of, how misconception, wrong conception, or mistaken conceptions should be eliminated. And for the beginners, for the bodhisattvas of first stage or beginners bodhisattvas, they just like us, they have been used to wrong conception for many past lifetime. Therefore, wrong conception or mistaken conceptions comes very kind of automatically to them. So how to avoid it? And for that we go to verse 22. Whatever appears to be truly existent is merely what mind in delusion creates. This mind of ours also is from the beginning devoid of an essence inherently real. Then realizing truth is beyond the conceptions we have of the noun and the knower as well, dispel the belief in inherent existence. The sense of Buddhas all practice this way. Short translation. The manner of all appearances is the creation of one's own mind. The nature of the mind from the beginning is free from the extremes of mental elaboration. Knowing this, it is the practice of Bodhisattvas not to make mental distinctions between object and subject.
어다 되게 가르쳐. 지tar 나완디다 랑기 semni ndene tupe 타단tal 세야다 가르치 거잖아. 당하란수 직 바게 인체 이모보지 나다 가르지 나데 닝제부 통해야지다. 바기 이두미와지 통해야돼. 율파조 크랑 왜니 지마 지진지야라잖니. 이 말에스. 나란수 수수기에는 배 율진 시바 셈기 타네. 딱 망보지 남도 망보지 조용 거래스. 이 말에 간디스르잖아. 되나? 이모보 크랑이 당니 여이나. 되나 다자 템발라. 때바 영행지기 다자 템발라 센정부 선주성이 배제정부 야주. 보다 총이 사돌을 때에 쳔베고 셈기미 잡아 디 연된셔야지다. 제투부지. 제네 때바 통해야지 연구하래. 보다 대마이마 양 때바 맨데기 벨론 레겐다 레진스 오브 레지나 템바페 데나진지 통과하래. 이니가 유무부 코란케니나 다 캔서 차소. 지기 기 시베타니 템비 구송투 연된데 셈기타니 바게 유무베 바게 구수투 연된데 라텝 연된데 오늘 셈기탄라다 지금 지진지 차대요래. 지금 남도 nembe 쫓다니. 아니 배 뒤지니 답에 뜸빈 제바 차상 배 뒤긴 제바나신지 통과하래. 남도 공화박을 쫓다니. 인디가라 랑게 셈게다니 지데 셈데 밀루와 체명오지니 파기 이제순다니 제토 기타베 연된데 게투거래. 지라 다 로엔베 시바 로툴웨 이제순다는데요래. 어다 띵디 인디가라 로툴웨 이제순다나이나 다 전된데 있나라 니베 견데디 통해요래스. 어다 띵디 인디가라 마랑소 망보지 뇽몽이 툴디요래. 남동안베니 툴디요래. 제자 셈 남동 nem바게 둘샤겨데라 디치바이나 아니 다지 덤발라 아니 중통인데 민자야가 데네 망보지 용통고아레스. 데나진체네 다베 지 가레지나 다 이젠다고 보지 전달한 샤 초그레스. 다 페나가란도 데 셈기 파기 쫓다 용디가라. 다 당보니 자잡적과데 개침버리 이제 순구하레스.
Whatever appears to be truly existence is merely what mind in delusion creates. So the other time, the manner of all appearances is the creation of one's own mind. Here, it is saying that whatever we see, beautiful, attractive, so on and so forth, is not exist on the object, not something external. It's all it doesn't exist from objective side. Rather, it is kind of imposed by our mind, and especially imposed with exaggeration, beyond reality, out of misconception, out of wrong view. Otherwise, if it exists from object side, or if it exists objectively, then people who have a very strong faith in Buddha, they perceives, the positive qualities of Buddha's body, speech, and mind, and they perceives, 32 major and 80 minor signs, and they have a very strong faith in Buddha. While there are some other, Thakar and Lejin too, who always sees, negative qualifications of Buddha, and they don't see Buddha as a Buddha, enlightened person. So if, the characteristic of whatever exists objectively, then, both of these two should see the same thing. This is not the case here. The people who have a faith in Buddha sees Buddha as enlightened. And those who don't have a faith sees Buddha as more or less like a demon, like an evil person. So this tells that where your mind look at the object, and the person who have a faith in Buddha, there is based on kind of valid cognitive mind, based on analysis, while person who don't see any qualifications, their way of looking is based on not valid, not standard mind. So if you have a wrong conception, wrong view, mistaken conception, we even see Buddha as not enlightened. A lot of bad qualities. So here, therefore, it is important, as mentioned here, from the very beginning, the nature of the mind from the beginning is free from the extremes of mental elaboration. So from the beginning, the mind is free from mental elaboration. So one shouldn't be, kind of following if, elaboration appears. You shouldn't be kind of following your mind after elaborations or after mental exaggerations or after, wrong misconceptions.
Te mai bada le la jina ngara songkang nyobja gyawan ro ware. Nyobja ge da songkan ro digana tangpo ni chala ji thong digala. Ti au zindu sam digala. Tini yang kora ji gyan tele ningjer thonga. Tini yang kora ji gyan ro da tele ningja garo no manyen mindi genji chagdo wa. O te ji zulmi inje namto ge to ta ya de ta tha de dus ta yong ko res. Ji 닝제로 제로 동부도 와서 되게다 주미 이제 남자 들어다가 가로질 망연은 미리지 잘도 와. 좀 당기
a more simple example, when we go for shopping, if we see something very, attractive, stuff that we really want, you saw that for the first time, then you went again, and at second time you see, it's more better, more attractive than the first time. And third time you really feels that, this is what I need, I need to buy this. And here you see the, mental exaggeration from the first to the second stage and then third, and, your mind becomes more kind of, desire becomes more stronger and stronger. So this is completely from, your mind side rather than from object.
Basgani diji chinre walmaje 신동 준지 다서라 담분잉 저버지 다서 드니 다 신동의 거야 민도 아선사지 시작다도 좋다도 빼잉 저버도 해 가르지 거라지게 어때다 찡잉 저버지도 좋다 야버시비도 와서 좋다라 삼다 마지고 이 마이 녀버저를 가르지 그는 감사로 거다래 난도 그러다가 그때리지레스
Geshe-la went to Walmart with Buzz for shopping, and they saw a very, a beautiful tree. And first, Geshe-la, he liked it, and then, he thought that, oh, this, he don't like the shape, and maybe he could find better one. And then he, took around and saw the second time. Now, second time he saw that, oh, it's a good shape, looks form nice. And then he bought it, and when he got it later, it just dried, the tree dried, or so here you see, kind of exaggeration, but it doesn't stay forever, just like it appears.
What tindi indugala, around same thing the marwari. That's Sangi Gusum to Yende Mataje, Delican Mitai, Namdog Trotana, Hyun Tonsiki, Laker the Lichin Nika, Jumden the Lunistan Lendu, de Gora, Monlore. In a Namdog Trotana, in Jumden and Lakin Tonherage, and that Maranzo, Robonanza, and the Tonda Tonsi. What a tender is. Same thing the Pem Maroyara. The Indugala, same day, Semakashi Sundugu, same day, and bay. Numo and agenda legune, any semingi just on the good, the young to say Tangwa the kitchen brace.
So the two disciples of Buddha that we mentioned before, Thekat and Lejin, they spent many years with Buddha and being a Buddhist, own disciple. But even after spending many times with Buddha, they don't see any, Buddha as a, enlightened being. Not even the slightest, positive qualities. And this, when our mind is, wrapped by misconception, wrong view, of course, friends and people we know, even, Buddhas, we don't see any positive qualities. So we should be, kind of make sure that our mind follows, valid cognitive, or follows standard investigation or proper, or you can say the, mind should be able to look at the reality, not follow the mental exaggerations, delusions, defilements.
That Tingi Shin Zunzin Samanum Ilamichi Gatsalanis. That is in it, Pagi, Semingi Jisundugina, De Pa, Katapchi. Semi Jisundruna, De La Nipe, Soso Tadum, Hawahome, Tadum de Tolape, the Yagetangua. All the Dusine, Sheba the Sema the Semingi, Karagajisundone, Yang Yandu, Tajane. Any Pagi, Chip, you Koran. When Pagi. 상대연나 되게 공도주나 진짜 차고래. 어다 디니 맞이 양내 양도 에네베 디 슈다 당 두스제와데. 지바이나 다 야스 장주세베 라랭고네 장주세베가 냠nen 제한테 차고래서 송고래스.
Knowing this, it is the practice of Bodhisattva not to make a mental distinction between object and subject. The other translation, then realizing the truth is beyond the conceptions. We have of the noun and the knower as well dispel the belief in inherent existence. The sons of Buddhas all practice this way. So here, briefly, one should be able to, realize that your mind is following the reality or here the truth, and not the other side.
Oda te jugudela bhage dijene chayulla ne musu ne jamba bangya de sungwares chayulla.
After this comes how to renounce attachment.
ngano garazana chumi jige namdo ge dodane chayulla chakwa ki ge orwase. 인디가라 다 수미 제가 남도데 파빵 이제네 자율의 젬바빵 방 자율의 배 무슨 젬바빵 둘데 손는 거라서.
So generally when we have attachment, it is this attachment is brought by here the translation is mental elaboration or mental exaggeration, refers to the negative mentality. So when you have mental elaboration or exaggerations, or that brings the attachment, and then from attachment comes brings suffering or pain or creation of negative karmas.
이동의 유단 테베체스 이야기 뒤긴 자손 지진도 제버나야 뎀버 밀타진 차정 봉화자들 알린 송레스 자유의 전바방에 세대들이지.
Verse 23. Whenever we meet with a beautiful object or something attractive which pleases our mind, do not be deceived into thinking it differs in fact from a summertime rainbow. Though both of them have such a lovely appearance, nothing substantial lies behind their facade. Abandon the drives of compulsive attraction. The sons of Buddhas all practice this way. It is a practice of Bodhisattvas to renounce attachment when meeting with pleasant objects, for although they appear lovely, like a rainbow in summer, they are not really being seen.
오다 당부 다 차비 율대 간지고 가다 율이 이동하지고 가래. 오다 차바게 디가라 되차기 칭이 고코나 까르지나 미바이 주 이동하라 미네 넘버 달카베 넘버진 찔리 룽알케 땡체 바스 송레 오던 되차 칭디 덴지질레 끼거래 도차들라 도차 차라서 거다 추체를 망보래 오다 차거래 율응알라 미베 니응알라 미베 도차 용거래 इन सेबेन तो छाय उंगरे तेसु गंगा ता दोछा छा दियोरे वता ती गांधीजी ना के उंदी गाला सु ता रोलाइन रोइन पे इतोवा कारिजना रोचिंबु ट्वाचमु ती इतोवा छा दियोरे ती इतोनी अनि तेला अनि पे चिकफा इजेने अनि पे तेदान ट्राल खावा अनि जेले दे कारिजना माजाना नाजातंगरवा रोहो नगरवा 오다 때리 농알게 땡제 바시데 때리다 제 지르나 제데 니베 아주 튕겨내 루이쳐야게 제데야 만디나 가킨데 누구야도 고 통주수요 요아 차대요 농알게 와다 고 통주수요 차대요 오다 딘디 인도가나 미바주 이동알 미네 넘버 달거게 넘버 제리게 농알게 땡제 와데 두자고 모레 오다 티 나랑도 사무당다 신이데 나 사무당나 कोतादा गोतुमें जियोरे ओता तिंडी इदुवा युलदा ठेबेसे खासा समलदान ओता ते भागी यारके तुगे ने पे जाजन नाजिंजी को टेम्बु हमारे समझ शुगुल जोशाबे गुर निंजबो जिगेना छापा게나 렌사메 아차그와 ते नाजिंची ने हां गारांसोता तीन상기 민 제보리 이동아 가서지 이나야 로 숨주니 집주 마나 숨주 집주 뉴나 주정아 텔라네 돈라 녀마칸 아니 베 타소 디소메 로 빈주 게주네 다디 텔리지나 텔 타소 디소메 간 자료 와도 고통시 수요 버라 데려와 오다 데나진지 따고 그래서 송고라스
It is practice of Bodhisattva to renounce attachment. So, what is attachment? Attachment. The nature of the attachment is, it has to have three parts. The first one, the object of the observation. The object should be very attractive, and then the nature is, when you see that object, your mind really wants to stay with that object as long as you can. Your mind can. The nature is difficult to separate. So first part is attractive object. Second, difficult to separate from that object. And third is, the result generates a suffering. So it could be, the object could be any of the 5 objects of desire, like taste, nice smell, nice clothes. So say, for example, good food, a good taste. When you see it, it looks very nice, good, and right after that, what the next stage is, you want to have that food, taste. And when you eat it, you want to eat as much as you can, kind of. Then the result, if you eat too much, of course, there's a pain, difficulty, suffering, illness. So although a food meal is supposed to be to support our life, but if we don't know how to use it properly, it might become the factor of our death and illness and diseases. So here it's saying when you when you see object of attachment, you should know the reality of that object. Those objects are just like rainbow in summer, although it appears beautiful, nice, long-lasting, eternal, but it's not. And other example is just like a beautiful tent made from paper. Looks beautiful, nice, but it won't sustain for long. And when you think about in our real life, we are attracted to our opposite sex. Looks beautiful, attractive, and those whatever the body, face, whatever is attractive, beautiful, at most might stay 30 to 40 years. It's shorter, 15 to 20 years. Then after that, you will see, the aging, the wrinkles, and it's not lasting, not eternal, not something kind of that you really want to be with, kind of forever.
Tatu dinsa ta amjitene sa shaje chene ji ki dong ba de zoide yugo tesola dungal ma dwa tele phama ge page tambo ne tum de gen ko dong de tagara ran su ja ba ina ya dwa jaza ji ngoni ngazu sende ma khan je ni ning je bu zo ga ji ge lo kha shi ni ko am tele duru stanza tele duga tene roson che tape tini pe chajin khabraji ji gyagi de gyagi mandena eni be donde ta tasu nusu megin chagwa tele duga.
And our mind not satisfied with what we have. You see people doing a surgery on their face, and those actually looks worse than what we have naturally after several years. So it's better to kind of keep what we were given by our parents, and the surgery is meant to to look better than what you have, to protect all the kind of ugliness part of your body, but it doesn't help. You have to maintain. It's a high maintenance. You either have to take some tablets or vaccination to stay it fresh, and a lot of it's expensive, and then later it brings more suffering than what we get from our natural face.
Oda dusi tindi to chik mune ngazo sigbi ducha dela chasig ducha dela yulu ngake nyubada changde yesete yung tende sungde yare beishu chubure tindi katu ya khabure ti da samno te tane eni be samta waina dese eni chase de hial pengi mikial pengres tempo me da melute so samta waina eni chik phage ka tarunte gana khana so lo thuna chenju na la eni chik mizawan je sum sudugi 공부 루이데 민장은 제 숨수도 공부 인바데 송요레스 때때도 삼타나 아나도 부이나 보몰라 차세기 그래 보다 띠띠기디가라 직하게 직 루이데 민장은 제 숨수도 다니 인바다데 삼타바이나 데미케ල් 파게 보모이나 불라테난 진기 그래 다치베 지냐레 바 그 페제나 니가 람데나 베 시조 망부 차그마다 그 요아데 미지지를 빼자네 송데야래 나란소 강가 Puinanda, Pomoinanda, Pamikutala Tumdera, Zumud, Deligendaji, Tubiomara, Nigachipuchi can Chadera. Tindi in the Vara order, Mizawan Sumsuru, Chazan, Suina, Mizawan Sumsuru, Gumburi, take the Samadana, Chase Michael Pengiri. They Pembaina, the Chase Machina Karen, send a Devanguri. The Pendoteri, Jen, Pagi Lula in Bay, Samdilla, Tenjuna Lugi, Pineshed, Samdilla Lugi Nimi Shed, Sangi Jazuna Mares. Meet the Tela in Bay, Kang like Su Mi Rigila, and in Bay, Chit Yang Lula Hachangi, Dorsam Chamber in the or Louis the Chamber, the Shena, Louis the Jetty Pingore. Yang Mi Kashijila, Bay, Chayul Tendela, Hajan Jenchena, Yang Dungal Shuchumushkiwar. The Gila Paya Dondala, Louis the Nebe, Mizan Jesum Suru Dani General, Louis the Chabaki Yomare, Louis the Pay of Soparazid, Denisuna, Yang Desha Michele, the Kubaris. Yeah.
So attachment is considered as a very powerful negative mind, because it could be generated from all five sensual objects. And when you have a very strong attachment, there are many different ways to kind of encounter or to remove or reduce the attachment. Say if one is thinking about instability of the object of desire, and more detail you can look at the Bodhisattva's way of life, Bodhicharya author text by Shantideva, and in that text Shantideva talks about 36 components of our body, filthy 36 parts, like made up of 36 different dirty, So we can look either way, male to female, female to male, because our body is made up from the same cause, same seed. And when you look at the negative sides of body, instability, impermanence, this helps to reduce the attachment, and thereby reduce the suffering or pain or difficulties from attachment. And in the text you will find sometimes Buddha talking about preciousness of body. Sometimes he talks about the negative qualities of Buddha body. So this depends on the disciples. For disciples who consider who are too serious of practice and who don't care about their body at all, Buddha is kind of reminding that you should take care of your body, because this is the body that will take you to enlightenment. This is sacred. It's hard to achieve. So he tells all positive qualities of this body, and those who are extremely attached to this body and therefore kind of suffers from attachment, desire, or negative mentalities. For them, Buddha is reminding that the body is not worth of the attachment that you are showing. It is filthy, it is made up of all this and that. So there are different reasons for different teachings that Buddha has in his text. Though both of them have such a lovely appearance, nothing substantial lies behind their facade. Abandon the drives of compulsive attraction. The sons of Buddhists all practice this way. Therefore, the same thing, they are not really being seen. It is practice of Bodhisattva to renounce attachment when meeting with pleasant objects. So here, yeah, 15 minutes break. We'll start at 11:30 and stop at 12:30.